everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today we are going to be going house hunting. So if you missed the announcement, I am going to be moving in just a few weeks. In fact, by the time you're seeing this, it will be about a week away. So I'm really excited to get this journey started. In order to really get things started though, back in July, I actually traveled to Columbia, Missouri, which is where I'm moving, and I went house hunting. So this is our first time ever buying a house, and we felt like it was a good time to buy for us financially, and also it just kind of made the most sense with the housing market in Columbia. It's just really good, and it felt like a really great opportunity for us to try something new, and we're really blessed to be able to do that. And today I'm going to show you all of the houses, well, not all of them, but some of the houses that we saw. And when I say we, I mean me and my realtor. Daniel wasn't there with me because he had to go to training, so it was a little bit stressful, and I wasn't initially planning on making a video actually, but I was sending Daniel videos of some of the homes that I thought would be really interesting for him to see, that I was thinking would be a possibility. And so I decided to just take those clips and turn it into a video here, because house hunting videos are some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube. So whenever you're looking for a new place to live, it is important to consider your wants and needs and kind of narrow that down so that you have a very specific scope on what you're looking for. And this is like very obvious information, but it was especially prevalent and important as we are making a purchase, because we're planning on living here for about 3 to 4 years. We know that it's not a forever home for us, but we know that it is semi-permanent. So with renting, you can really easily get out of your lease, you know, next year if you don't like your place, if something goes weird. But when you buy a house, you're kind of like locked in for a little bit longer. So it was more important for me this time around to really pay attention to a lot more things, I guess, like structurally about the house. That was really important. And we actually had Daniel's dad, who doesn't live too far from where we're moving, check out the houses structurally, or at least the ones that he could before I got there. One of the houses he did actually see prior to me seeing it, and that was like really helpful to know structurally that it was sound, because let me tell you, we're moving from Arizona, and Arizona, you just don't run into a lot of structural problems with homes. Like, definitely not like you do back in Missouri, because in Missouri it's very wet and the clay just has a tendency to shift a lot, which makes foundations of homes unstable, and then you get cracks in the foundation and all of these types of things. And so it was really difficult to find homes that didn't have previous foundation problems or even current foundation problems. So let's talk about our needs for our home. Okay, so I'm gonna level with you. I talked for a stupid amount of time about all of these things, and then while I'm editing I realized I don't need to do that. So here's just our list of our needs and our wants. You know, parking for 2, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, good investment, fenced yard, acreage. We would love if it was wooded. We want a pantry, hardwood floors or hardwood look floors would be great. A basement would be great so that we could maybe finish it if it was unfinished and, you know, add some value to the home. A sunroom is an obvious thing because I have a lot of houseplants, if you have not noticed, and we love an open concept home. So I feel like that's all I need to say about this, and yeah. Okay, so now that we know what we want and what we need, let's look at the first home. So like I said, these videos were not necessarily intended for a YouTube video. So some of them are kind of short or don't really explain much, but I'm going to explain, you know, as we go through what's going on. So this first house I didn't really like at all, but it was on the market for a really long time and it was a great price, I guess. Since it was on the market for so long, I felt like we could talk them down to a lower price. Kind of spoiler alert, I didn't like this house, but there are 3 others that I really liked, but I still want to show you this one because it was cute. It was just such an awkwardly shaped and arranged home that it was too much for me, and it was not open concept, which kind of did it for me. So as you can see, the kitchen has been updated and it looked really nice. I would probably fix the countertops, but other than that, it was great. And the dining room was right off the kitchen, which was cool. But there was this entire like pole right in the middle of the first floor that it was kind of weird, because you would think that there would be a fireplace there or something like that to block off the entire space and make it not open concept, but it wasn't serving any purpose. Perhaps it was weight bearing, so they couldn't remove it, because obviously the house had been updated sort of recently, I guess sometime in like the 2010s is what I'm assuming based on the fixtures and stuff. Upstairs had this really cool loft area, which I really enjoyed. I feel like that would make a really great office. And something about this house that was so cool was the windows were huge. They were like almost floor to ceiling windows, and I love that. I love big windows in a home. I think that's such a great way to bring in natural light, and it just makes your home feel so much bigger. So now on to what was sort of strange about the home is that when you walk into the front door, you were met in a bedroom, which was so weird because you don't want to walk into a house and be met with a bedroom. And they had converted it into an office, which I guess was okay, but there was a sort of like Jack and Jill closet between the office and the master bedroom. So the master bedroom was pretty small, but it wasn't bad in general. I mean, most of the master bedrooms we saw, or I saw, were bigger than our current room, which is great. But the bathroom was really small. It was relatively updated, but it didn't really like knock my socks off. And I'll be honest, none of the bathrooms in any of the houses knocked my socks off because they obviously were not renovated in the last like 1 or 2 years. So there were a lot of really great windows in this house again, which is definitely a good thing for me, but it didn't do it for me. So let me see. Oh, there was also a shed in the back, which would be really great for Daniel. He did want some sort of a shed for, you know, putting his tools and like doing all of that kind of stuff. And this one was pretty perfect for that. There was some storage on the top and also this like entire workbench setup. So in review for this house, there was parking for 2. It was a 2-bedroom, 3-bath. I didn't feel like it was a good investment, and I was very hesitant because it had been on the market for so long. It did not have a fenced yard. Although there were multiple acres, it was mostly just pastures. And while pastures are really nice if you have animals, we are probably not going to have animals, so we would prefer it to be mostly wooded. There was no area for a pantry. There was laminate flooring and a little bit of carpet, which is okay. No basement, no sunroom, and it was not open concept. So as you can see, this one was not the one. The next house I looked at, I was really, really excited about because it felt really isolated. It had a really cabin in the woods vibe, and I really, really love that. I would love to live in a cabin in the woods someday, just completely isolated and have my cabin, have my cup of tea. So let's look inside and see what was going on. So right when you drive up, you can see that there is a completely screened in porch with some tile and like a storage area. And it was really nice. I mean, this was definitely a selling factor for me because it was so big and it was already screened in. The screens looked like they were actually new. And this is really the place that I would hang out the most. While we're outside, I want to show you, there was this big pasture, I guess like field thing, which would be perfect to put a pond. So we are wanting to put a pond on the property if we can. What was strange about this is that the house was lined up on the edge of the property. So I believe that it was 5 or 6 acres, which is a pretty sizable lot. But what they did was they put the house, like, let's say this is the acreage. They put the house right here, which is so weird. And the road that you drive in on is actually an easement road. So this house does not come with that road, but the person who owns the road has given the owners of this house, you know, permission to use the road. And even the area that would be the front yard of this house is not attached to this house because it's a part of another property. So I thought it was really strange. Like, that was a big thing for me, that I was like, I don't really like that the house is on the very edge of the property and other people could drive up that road right past our house whenever they want because it's not our road. The outside was all wood and it had no evidence of termite damage, so structurally it was sound, and there wasn't a basement, so we didn't have to worry about any cracks in the basement or any foundation problems really. It just wasn't a thing with this house, which is cool. And then this is where we are meant to park the cars, which was a big deal breaker for me because I really wanted a garage, and this didn't even really seem like it would be big enough for 2 cars. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Now inside of the house, let's start in the kitchen. So the kitchen needed quite a bit of work in my opinion. The cabinets were not bad. I would probably paint them, and I would definitely replace the countertop because that color was not it. But the thing that I really liked about this house, and I forgot to film it, was there was really big beams running across the ceilings, which was really beautiful. Especially the beams were in the living room, and the living room was beautiful. It was really dark in the house though, which is something that's kind of important to me. It was a little bit of a dark day, but in general it was very dark, and I didn't really like that because I do have so many houseplants. Again, a lot of them would probably live on the porch, but I don't really want my house to feel really dark because that's also hard for filming and just doing a life and feeling not dreary all the time. The bedrooms in this house were really small, which in my opinion wasn't great. I don't want to feel like I'm like shuffling around stuff to get around. And also the bathroom needed quite a bit of updating. There was a really big bathtub, which was nice, but other than that, everything else I would probably rip out because it was very, very outdated. Like the toilet seat was wood. If that gives any perspective to how outdated the house was. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll quickly show you the other bedrooms. They would obviously need to be painted because the colors are not my style. The closets were pretty small as well, but in general, like there was some nice flooring throughout the house. We can kind of see that here. And then this bedroom was so little, so little. I mean, I don't even think that you could fit much in it besides a bed. But the redeeming part about the house was this bathroom. It was really big and it felt more updated than any other part of the house, to be honest with you. And also something really cool about this is the washer and dryer was inside of the bathroom. So I feel like that's kind of a nice touch. It makes it easy to just like strip down before the shower and throw your clothes in the washer, and I don't know, I thought that was really cool. So all in all, I did actually like the house and I felt like it had a lot of potential, and it didn't really seem like that big of a fixer-upper besides updating a few things, like especially the master bathroom and a little bit in the kitchen. But for the most part, the floors were fine and structurally it was sound, and it had that really awesome outdoor patio. So it did not have parking for two. It did have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and even though the house was set up kind of strange on the property lines, I still felt like it was a good investment because there was so much wooded area and the land was just really beautiful. It did have more than 1 acre, like I just mentioned. No pantry, it had hardwood floors, no basement. It did have a sunroom, but it was not open concept. Okay, so this next house I don't have that much footage of because Daniel and I had actually looked at this house quite a bit online. It was one that we were extremely seriously considering because it was really close to what we wanted, but our hang up on it was that it just felt really small. I think it was about 1,100 square feet, and to us, we weren't really sure because our apartment right now I think is like 900 square feet. So this was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with only, I don't know, 300 more square feet than our current place. So we just weren't really sure how that was all going to shake up. Like the bathroom and the bedrooms looked really small. But the thing is about this house is it has a basement, but it was unfinished. So that is the reason that the square footage was so small. So we knew that if we did get this house, we would finish the basement and then we would be able to add on all of that square footage into the house. So speaking of the basement, let's check that out. This basement showed a lot of evidence of foundation problems or possible problems because there were a lot of cracks in the walls, which if you can ignore the amazing decor, you could also see that there was some damage from water coming in through the cracks, which that really kind of made me nervous. It made Daniel nervous, and when I was telling his dad about it, it made him nervous too. You just don't really know with these types of things. We don't really know how serious it is until you get an inspector out there. And at the point that you get an inspector to go look at a house, you're probably a little bit more serious about it and you would hope that it would come back well. So other than that, the rest of the basement was like, I guess like quote unquote partially finished. There was clearly like a man cave situation down there. And then that door that you see right there is the garage and then the stairs leading up. Okay, so the bedrooms in this house were also very small, but I was actually surprised by how much space there was despite it feeling so small. The closet was actually really wonderful in this place. It was probably my favorite closet that I saw because it had a closet organization system, like a his and hers type of thing, so it would make it really easy to organize all of our stuff. I really appreciated that, and I feel like I want that in my home. And the bathroom in this place, it was so little, and I feel so prissy like being like it's too little, but there really wasn't a lot of space. Like it felt too small even just for one person. But on the bright side, there was a window in the bathroom, which I didn't see a ton of, and I really love windows in the bathroom for plants and other things, but I don't think that I could put that many plants in that bathroom. Like honestly, maybe 1 plant tops, because there just was not a lot of space. Now, I didn't get videos of the living room, but the living room was also pretty small. However, that's not necessarily a big issue for us because it just means that we don't need to buy a new couch. We do have like a smaller-ish couch. It's like a 3-seater couch from IKEA that Daniel had already, but the kitchen was actually really nice. It was recently updated. Those cabinets have been painted, so I wouldn't feel guilty painting them again if I wanted a different color. I probably would update the countertops, and I appreciate that all the appliances match. And also, this was so weird because the fireplace was in the kitchen, and I've never seen this before. I mean, fireplace was something that we wanted. I kind of forgot to add it to the want list, but it was kind of a given. Like, most of these houses had a fireplace. I feel like it's just a normal thing to have when you don't live in Arizona. The kitchen was the fireplace room and the dining room and the kitchen. And so there wasn't a ton of space in there, and we would have definitely needed to get rid of our current table, which I love our table and I really don't want to get rid of it. It would be nice to not have to buy all new furniture. What I didn't get is the deck. There's a deck right off of the kitchen, which was really beautiful, and it overlooked the entire property, I guess. I mean, you couldn't see the entire property. I think that this house was about 5 acres and it was completely wooded. But the house is kind of close to a road. We kind of wanted something that would be like deeper into the property, like not feel so like on the edge, and also something, they didn't really have a backyard for this house because it was completely wooded. It was beautiful, by the way. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have that. It's just that it was a little bit troubling because there isn't really a place where I can let Leo out in a fenced area, because we're right on the property line, and then on the other side is like very thick trees. So unless we cut down some trees to make a backyard, we didn't really feel like we had a backyard because it was just like straight up forest behind our house. So in review for this house, it had parking for 2. There was a garage. It was 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I did feel like it was a good investment because we could finish that basement and bring up the property value, and also wooded acreage is just really, really highly sought after. So that was really nice. No pantry. It had hardwood floors, or hardwood look-alike floors. It had a basement, no sunroom, and it was not open concept. So we did get a little bit closer to what we wanted as time went on and as we kept seeing houses. I am actually showing you these in order in which I saw these homes. And the next house is the last house that I looked at. And you could probably draw your conclusions here on which one I picked, but I am going to keep it a secret until the end. And this is actually the house that I have the least amount of usable footage from, which is really a shame, but I was just taking it all in really because it was pretty perfect in my opinion. So I will be inserting some photos from the listing because thank God the seller had really great photos, because every time I went to visit the house, well, I think I just gave something away by saying every time I went to visit the house, I'm just gonna tell you, this is the house that we ended up buying, the next one I'm going to show you. Okay, so that makes it a lot easier to talk about it now that I've said that. So anyway, every time that I went to go visit the house, so the first time I saw it and then like the second and third time afterwards, because I did see it a few times when I was there, it was really, really dark outside those days. Like not a sunny day. It was very cloudy and rainy, which is very common in Colombia. With that being said, I have a lot more footage of the outside because that was a lot easier to capture. So let's start out talking about the outside areas. So outside you can see that things are extremely overgrown, but good news, there is a pole barn, which is really nice because we have somewhere to park our lawnmower. And then on the side, there is an area where you could possibly have like a chicken coop. In Missouri, they have a lot of lagoons for the septic system. So they don't have like a city septic system for homes like this one. I mean, I'm probably really botching this, but this is just how it is for our house. So we don't have like a city septic system, but instead we have a lagoon on our property, which is apparently where all of our human debris is pumped into, and then it is filtered into the groundwater, and it just like, it's the water cycle. That is my understanding of a lagoon. I just wanted to show this to you so that you can see how green and lush the property is, because it looks like this for a lot of it. So it does have, I guess I should say, it has 7 partially wooded acres, and we love the partially wooded part because that means that it has a fenced in backyard for Leo, but also a wooded area that is absolutely beautiful. I got to walk through it and I just loved it so much. I just cannot wait to explore there more often. When I get there, I'm gonna be out there all the time. We will start with the kitchen because the kitchen is the place that I am most excited to get my hands on. So this is the kitchen, and it is not a massive kitchen, but it's also not super small. It was bigger than the photos made it look. The tiles got awful, but I mean, it has good bones, you know what I mean? I think that it'll be a really great starting point. And then the kitchen opens up into the dining room and also the living room, which is the only place that I saw that was open concept. And I was so happy about it because it just made it feel so much bigger and it just made it feel so open, and I just love that feeling. And then the little living room nook over here, it's just really a perfect size for our couch and just like our living room setup. On the other side of the living room, we do have a wood burning fireplace, which is so cool. I'm excited to have a fireplace for once, and also to have like the low rolling smell of burning wood in the home. I'm just very excited about that. Now, as far as the bedrooms go, there are 3 bedrooms, like I said, and 2 bathrooms. So the bottom floor is kind of weird because it has the main bedroom where Daniel and I would be sleeping on the main floor. And also it has like a Jack and Jill bathroom effect with the living room. So there's 2 doors to the main bathroom, and one is to the living room and one is to our bedroom. So we're kind of unsure if we want our bedroom to be downstairs because we don't really want to share a bathroom with the main floor. Inside of the main bedroom, it is very, very large, and so I might be actually using that for my studio. So the bathroom right off of the main floor it doesn't necessarily need to be like completely updated, but I'd say it needs a new paint job, and also the shower needs some work because the shower is kind of gross, to be honest. So probably need to completely rip out the shower, and I would really like to tile the shower and have a glass door so that it feels a little bit more open. So when you go upstairs, that is when the carpet starts, and I saw the carpet and I was a little bit worried because carpet in old homes is usually not a good idea. It's usually just like tragic, but this carpet was actually in really good shape, so I feel good about it. So the bedroom's upstairs. So there is a larger bedroom, which I'm assuming was the original main bedroom or master bedroom, because there are 2 closets in that bedroom, one on either side, which is really nice, and that kind of makes me want to have our closet up there so that we can just like separate all of our stuff. Not that we fight over closet space, but it's just kind of nice to have things compartmentalized. I really enjoy that. And also that bedroom up there is a little bit darker because it is a bedroom right off of the sunroom. So the windows are not directly on top of the bedroom, if that makes sense. So there's a little bit of space between the window and the bedroom. And the reason that is because the sunroom was an add-on. So I'm assuming that there used to be a balcony that led out from that top bedroom, but it was removed because they added on the sunroom. So there is still a sliding glass door with like a railing. And then the other bedroom upstairs is just a regular bedroom. It's really nothing to write home about, but it has a really big south window, and that will be our guest bedroom likely, and possibly future a baby's room if that happens in this house. And then the bathroom on the top floor is pretty okay. I mean, I can't say it's like awful. It definitely needs updating. It needs a new vanity and mirror and lights, and I would like a new shower in there, so new paint. Basically everything's gonna change actually. But we have time. We have lots of time to do that. And then, as I mentioned before, there is a sunroom, which was really important to me because I want a place to put all my plants that is away from Daniel and Leo knocking them all over. So that's really exciting. And actually when you walk into the front door, there is the sunroom, and then there's another door which leads you into the rest of the house. So it is a 3-season room, so there isn't air conditioning or heat that goes to it, but I guess if I needed to, I could put a space heater in there. It just depends. We could also just leave the door open that leads into the rest of the house, and that would probably filter in warm air as well. Okay, so in review of this final home, it has parking for 2, so it does have a 2-car garage which is attached to the house. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It is definitely a good investment because the fixes that we have to make are not super big, and also the property that it sits on is gorgeous. I can't even wait to show you all of it. I'm so sad that I didn't get more videos, but it is absolutely beautiful. And it does have a fenced-in yard for Leo, which is perfect. It's already done for us. We don't have to worry about that, and it's actually a really, really big space. Like I said earlier, it is 7.5 acres, partially wooded, which is really nice because we have space to put a pond and we don't have to clear out any trees. It's like a guilt-free pond, which is really nice. It does have a space to put in a pantry. It doesn't have hardwood floors, but it has laminate floors downstairs and carpet upstairs, which is fine with me. It does not have a basement, unfortunately, but it does have a sunroom and it is open concept. So this was definitely a really fun and sort of stressful adventure finding this home, but it felt so worth it, and I'm so excited to get out there and live in this home and make all of the updates. So if you enjoy house hunting and home improvement videos and just like, I don't know, home DIYs that you do by yourself that you don't need to hire someone to do, you know, stuff like that, I think you're really gonna enjoy my upcoming videos, especially when we move in. It will be a little bit before we can get started on things because our stuff isn't gonna be arriving when we arrive, but in any case, I will be getting to it very soon. I'm gonna hop to, it's kind of nice that we're moving there in the winter time, or I guess like the fall, because I won't feel guilty for doing stuff inside when I could be outside because it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be my first time actually living in real winter, so I'm a little nervous about that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these houses and maybe you learned something about me or just the house hunting experience or whatever. I mean, I definitely have learned so much through this process, and yeah, it's been a doozy, but it's been really fun at the same time. So make sure that you subscribe before you leave, and I will see you next week. Bye!